Do you have neck pain that's giving you a headache? Well, if you're living with chronic headaches, the chances of that are actually pretty high. And that's called a cervicogenic headache. And my name is Dr. Darby Campbell, and I help my patients recover from these naturally all the time without any drugs whatsoever. It's really, really cool. So how are we doing this? Well, cervicogenic just means neck-generated headache. And we can have neck-generated headaches without any neck pain whatsoever, just because of how the neck refers pain into the head. And we have a great introductory video on headaches that talks about how neck health actually affects all forms of headaches, so I recommend you watch that as well too. But what a cervicogenic headache feels like in comparison to other headaches is it can have that tension feel due to postural tension in the neck, but it can also be very asymmetric. This is a more classic form of this presentation, because if we have an asymmetry, an asymmetric injury to the neck, it's going to have an asymmetric presentation. The most classic form of that is the referral pain above the ear and into the temple. This is classically from the top three bones of the neck being misaligned or injured. And so that's what's causing these subluxations. So a subluxation is actually a misalignment of the spine, and then that in turn causes this referral pattern. And so what's going on there is when we have a healthy spine, we have a high level of proprioception. We have a high level of motion. Proprioception is motion information carried over nerves. And so proprioception, motion information, likes to numb pain. That's why if you ever hit your finger, you shook it right away to try to numb the pain. And so when motion is present, our brain becomes less sensitive to pain. This is called the Gait theory of pain. And so when we have a healthy neck, we have a high level of proprioception. But when we have subluxation, our overall level of motion goes down because there's a mechanical irritation. The bones are no longer properly aligned, and so we're not able to move them in their full range of motion, and then that also creates mechanical irritation. This lowers proprioception and increases pain. And when this gets flip-flopped, we're going to be feeling pain somewhere, whether that's in our head through a cervicogenic headache or through neck pain, or even referred all the way down to our upper or lower shoulder blade, I should say. The neck can refer to a lot of different spots when there's injury to it. The most common of being is a subluxation. The only way to correct a subluxation is by going to a chiropractor like myself to get this adjusted. So that's going to properly restore the alignment of the spine. Commonly what people do, however, is they just take an NSAID or a pain blocker or a pain medication. That decreases the pain, but it doesn't solve the lack of motion. And so the lack of motion sits there, and the mechanical irritation continues to sit there, so the problem actually only continues to get worse. This increases the likelihood of a lot of other issues. That's why we have to be dealing with this properly to get this level of proprioception back where it should be. And so when we get adjusted, obviously that's going to restore motion to the spine physically. But when we have that proper alignment again, that level of motion is able to be maintained into the future. And therefore, we're going to be able to maintain a high level of proprioception. That proprioception will naturally numb our feeling of pain, but then that motion will actually allow our body to heal, and that will also decrease our perception of pain so that we're ultimately getting better. This is how getting adjusted and reducing subluxations will reduce cervicogenic headaches and pain. Posture. Posture relates a lot into cervicogenics because when we have a bad posture, we're more likely to get subluxations in our lower neck. And then in turn, that misalignment in the spine will prevent our ability to get back into a good posture. Even if we do all these good stretches and exercises to retrain our posture, it won't stick unless we're getting our bones realigned in our spine, because we can't get into the good posture without a good bony alignment. And so we always have to deal with these together. More significant is injuries such as whiplash, because now we're damaging the muscles, tendons, and ligaments of the spine, and we only have a short time frame to deal with these really well. And so I recommend all my patients get checked right away to see a good chiropractor like myself that specializes in these injuries so that you can get better, or else we can be dealing with these chronically for a long time. Lastly, inflammation. When we're chronically inflamed, even small injuries can create significant pain levels. And so we have to get this level of inflammation under control. And so the average American is inflamed at an inflammatory fat of 25 to a healthy fat of 1 ratio. Any level above a 4-to-1 inflammatory to a healthy fat ratio will be associated with chronic pain. The best way to get that back to normal is through fish oil supplementation. What's in the research is 3,000 milligrams per day for 3 months can bring somebody from 25-to-1 to 4-to-1, and thereby reducing their chronic inflammation and chronic pain levels. This is how we manage chronic cervicogenic headaches in our office, and if you need help with that, or any friends or family, share this video with them because they need it right away. My name is Dr. Darby Campbell at Campbell Chiropractic.